Hello and a very warm welcome to our MIRO board. I am giving a short introduction of our teamwork on the term curation. We are a team of 4 female professionals in the museum context. Some are curators and some are involved in different processes in the museum. We are 2 from Germany and 1 from Palestine and 1 from the Shara Authority in the Emirates. So we dedicated our work to the investigation of the term curation itself. Oscillating between spiritual and physical care and moving to management, the term and its different semantic levels is challenging. In contemporary times, the term is used internationally. Looking at the origin of the words in both languages, Arabic and German, helped us get a better feeling of the different shades of the term. An interesting insight are the differences between aman and kajem, which means integrity, honesty, trustworthiness, and evaluator on the other side. From a contemporary perspective is to add the interesting task to switch off the dimension of property when designing and realizing an exhibition project. That means to be able largely to ignore the categories of use value and exchange value and to show something publicly because of its exhibition value. Hence, by making something perceptible, it cannot be tied back to labor, but is instead nourished by aesthetic experience, sensual knowledge, and communicative practice, curators occupy and define the interface between artist, institution, and audience.
So after this brief introduction by Josephine, thank you, by the way, I would like to briefly explain our discussion process and how the individual MIRO board sections came up. The first thoughts regarding our joint projects were on the final format. What did we want as a final result? As a working platform, we decided to use the MIRO board, which we got to know through the tutorials of the lecturers, as a kind of mind map. To approach the topic of curation, we first decided to do a textual and digital research where we each had to find at least 2 articles to share and discuss. In the discussion about what exactly we should be looking for, it became clear that we understanding curating as a participatory process and were therefore particularly interested in texts or projects with this background. Samar suggested as an exhibition about curating as the end result. So we were also looking for images on this topic. After gathering the initial information, such as the texts and the different definitions in our languages, it became clear that we needed more visual structuring in MIRO, hence the different color areas. These are divided into tasks to do, links to articles, historical background, personal background, images, case studies, notes, meeting records, WhatsApp communication, presentation storyboard, and definition text. After a meeting with the lecturers, we added an additional area to the already mentioned historical derivation of the term, which should make our personal professional background visible, so that our developed ideas from our personal development became more comprehensible for the readers or visitors. In the preparation for the explanatory video, we came up with the idea for a note on the topic of agreement and differences in personal position and an additional field for problems we encountered in this particular format of the dialogue. Now we are at the point to think how to continue. Finally, we want to write a common definition as the last field in MIRO and look again at what this discussion has given us for our personal work. Maybe we will do some additional work on the individual fields, and maybe it will be an open format where we can continue to work on it together or with others outside the project. Who knows?
Thank you, Annika. One of our last additions to the MIRO board was the personal background section, where we thought we could highlight our personal experiences and backgrounds and what curation means to every one of us. We found it interesting how we all come from different cultural, geographical, educational, and professional backgrounds, yet still ended up working with museums and museum curators, or even became curators. Our academic backgrounds, for instance, differ. One of us majored in biology and medical technology, that is Samar, Annika and Josephine in art history, and myself in business administration. This part also highlights how we all had different relationships with museums growing up. For example, while some of us rarely visited museums as kids, others continuously visited in-school museums. We also shared some of our values, spoke about what we like about our jobs, and wrote about how personal hobbies like Josephine's love for ballet shaped her curatorial practice today. In this part, which is supported with personal stories and photos, we give the audience a glimpse of who we are, not only as curators of this project, but also as human beings. We thought it would be nice for the readers or viewers to get to know the persons behind this collaborative work, the 4 museum practitioners from Sharjah, Jerusalem, and Berlin.
Thank you all. Now, through that whole process, we went into different ways of thinking and different ways of looking at both our theoretical knowledge at one hand that we gained from looking and researching into academia, and on the other hand, looking at our personal experience. Both had great value in trying to reflect, analyze, and redefine the word curation, and none could be neglected. And at one point we thought that we are in disagreement, but actually we were not in disagreement, but we were not in agreement, which brought in so many experiences and brought in so much meaning into the world. And we were, as if we were in the process of amalgamation of all these experiences and all that knowledge that we were gaining through that trip. Looking at different examples and case studies also helped us to assert the fact that experience of museum workers is important and should be included. It's not only about the theory, it's about the practical knowledge. So we decided together that with the different forms that we were looking at and the different points of view, that we were looking more at an organic definition of the word curation, somewhere where it would be interacting with the museum, it would be showing the interaction also with the audience, it would be putting the perspective of the artifact and the artist or the collection in mind. And that becomes sort of a framework, an interactive framework that is comprehensive and can join both the theoretical and the practical into finding meaning and defining the word curation. And together they form a conceptual framework that is organic and has the capacity to interact with its context, which is cultural. At the same time, it could be the social and educational context too. It could be interacting with the audience, both professional and public. It cannot be separated from the museum and its authority, the artifact and its authority, and also the authority of the audience too. It expands to collaborate and interact with the context and audience in all its processes. The frame also entails its own authority over an exhibition and sets the curator as a weaver. There is no absolute authority there. It's a set of informed decisions. The more collaboration, the better the word curation gains meaning. Thank you. And maybe the way we worked as a team also proved that our work in this research about the meaning of curation is actually a curatorial work. We were curating that meaning together, bringing in the different experiences from different spaces, from our interaction with the audience, from our interaction with different museum professionals. It all brought in the meaning into the words. Thank you.